Welcome, guys, to a new episode of African Voices Unmuted. This is your host, Timothy, and I'm here with my co-host, Sean.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode. I am indeed still Sean, and I am really excited to be here because once again, Timothy and I are not alone. And guess who we got in the building?
Guess.
We have just a little guess. We're gonna give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. It's Diego from Movember.
Welcome, Diego.
Thank you very much.
So, if anyone here doesn't know Diego, which is absolutely absurd to me, because why do
Crazy.
you not know Diego?
Absolutely crazy.
Diego is one of the student ambassadors of Movember. The entire organization we're basically doing this for. Movember to us means the world. It means the entire process of men's health and speaking about it. The entire organization. And to have a student ambassador, that's really big for us. And this was one of our most proud acquisitions. And to make this even sweeter, Diego is from South Africa. Yo.
The one and only.
The one and only. Greet us in South African.
Hello, who like it?
Hey, that's our way.
when they send their best.
Wait. All right, Diego. If I missed anything, which I really hope I didn't, but give us a quick introduction of yourself.
So, hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I am Diego. As thoroughly mentioned, I am a Movember ambassador, student ambassador. And yeah, so a little bit about myself. I'm a Movember I'm a Movember student ambassador, obviously, but I'm also a master's student in public international law at Utrecht University.
Wow.
Serious stuff.
Yeah, consequential. So yeah, that's what I do by day, and then I Movember and do all these different sports and physical activities by night, and yeah, that's how I found myself here. So, yes.
Yes, we're very happy to have you because we started this podcast because we're trying to raise awareness about Movember, to raise awareness about men's health. And today we're diving into crucial and often overlooked topic, which is testicular cancer. It's one of the most common cancers in young men, but the good news is it's highly treatable when caught early. So let's talk about it openly and without hesitation because these are the conversations that can literally save someone's life. For prostate cancer, the numbers are just as important. It's one of the leading causes of cancer in men worldwide. However, men don't talk about these issues or seek medical advice until it's too late. That's why it's spreading awareness and having these conversations to reduce the stigma is very important. And yeah, it could encourage people to check up on their health, right?
Yeah, extremely. It's extremely important, and yeah, it's something that young men should be doing more often because we don't do or aren't encouraged necessarily to do these physical tests like women have mammograms annually, and it's encouraged, and to some greater extent it is covered by insurance or encouraged because one of the things there is early detection means, well, unfortunately, if we're going to put it to numbers, yeah, it's yeah, helps also the insurance companies. So there is that. Yeah.
Okay. And could you tell us some of the risks that we have to face as men with testicular cancer?
Yeah. So we don't currently we don't have a true answer to what the exact cause of testicular cancer is, but there are certain risk factors that play a role, such as family history, having had a undescended testicle. So when your testicle, one or two of them haven't dropped yet from or completed the puberty process, and yeah, simply being in that age group of 15 to 35, it's quite alarming. But there are some things we can do to detect it. So this makes me want to go onto some warning signs that you can do yourself, because I know that not everyone is going to now book a doctor's appointment and be like, can you check my balls? However, we're all enlightened people, and we can, yeah, we should be able to see these things for ourselves, not like diagnose ourselves, but like start the process. So one of the warning signs to keep an eye out for, such as symptoms such as a lump or swelling on one or both testicles, changes in size, shape, or texture, an unusual pain or discomfort, just you'll know. If you notice something unusual, don't ignore it. But definitely go get a checkup. But don't be like, "Oh my God, I'm dying." Like,
You know what? I had a maybe TMI experience, but
what
I'll
we're
try
here
to. I remember there was this one time where I was just, living my life as you do. And I woke up one day and I was like, something's not feeling the same down there,
goodness.
It's a bit of and like I feel like I felt it in the walking. I was like, ooh. And then I had a quick little feel about just to be like, hey, is it by any chance the big C? Like, has he come knocking?
The
on
one
my,
who shall not be named.
Has he come knocking down on my balls or something? Like, is he there? So I'm feeling around. And now I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. There's an unusual feeling there. So I go on the internet and I'm now stressing. I'm like, yo, what exactly is this? And Google told me it wasn't cancer. It was apparently like testicular torsion or something like that, and it goes away on its own. So how do I know if it's different? Or am I asking maybe too deep a question? Is this for the doctor now?
I'm a law student, so. But. One of the things that is very important, and this is the whole thing about this process, just like going on Mayo Clinic or whatever those online things, that's not the.
ChatGPT.
Yes, that is not.
Yeah,
that shouldn't
that's
be.
crazy.
Yeah, medical advice from ChatGPT.
I was not thinking about ChatGPT when you said you Googled something.
No, even on the way here, he was talking too much. Teachers, let it be known. Yeah, no. I'm joking, maybe. So, no, but one of the things that is very important is feel yourself, check yourself, get to know yourself. And if anything feels unusual, I would say also maybe like, 1 or 2 days and you're like, this is really just different, definitely go to a doctor. They can always run the necessary tests. And it's not as bad as you think. I'll get to why it's not as bad as you think later.
Yeah, because these conversations are obviously very, very uncomfortable, and it's also very normal for us to ignore and downplay these signs, often due to embarrassment or fear. And as you can hear us laughing multiple times already in this podcast, because it's not an easy topic to talk about. But catching it early is definitely the key to solving it, or like curing the issue, because 95% of the survival rates for testicular cancer are over 95% if caught early. This is a source supported by the cancer research done by the UK. So that's why it's also important to, no matter how uncomfortable, just check your balls.
Yeah. So, to make it even more uncomfortable for everyone, how would we like to all, we're not going to take our pants off, obviously, but I think it would be important to let your listeners know how to check themselves, because sometimes, we don't know. So I'm going to encourage everyone to look away, look in a different direction, put your hand on your crotch. They're actually doing it. They're good. Okay. So now what we're doing is, usually you'll do this after a warm shower, because warm water gets everything descending.
I think that is true. It's good for the size.
Yeah.
What?
An African man knows when he lives in Europe.
Okay. Wow.
Don't cut that out. That was my
one take, guys.
This podcast is not going the way I expected it to.
So
okay.
There are 3 steps. We are on step 1 still. So you go into the shower, or you make sure you're warm. You have movement and elasticity down there. Then heat relaxes the skin, makes it easier to feel if anything's unusual. You'd know. So, and then step 2 is you examine it. You take your thumb and your fingers. So I've got kind of like my 2, what do you call this? Index finger and middle finger out. Yeah. And then I take my thumb, and then I just, go feel a bit.
Mm-hmm. What am I looking for?
Irregularity. Maybe a lump. Is there something that feels a bit sensitive that you're like, ooh?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The fact that this is on camera.
Oh, I forgot about the camera. Oh I'm only looking over there. There are two cameras staring at me touching my balls. Okay, no, but this is what we need to do. This is the kind of, maybe seeing it is a bit unnecessary. But, like, these are the kind of moments that we need to have more often. Because, weirdly enough, I did this with my friend's boyfriend last week. I was sitting at the dinner table doing some research on this stuff. And I was like, won't name names, but just feel with me. And he also was like, if it was for medical reasons, he'd take a look. And I think that's something we need to, ladies do that. My female friends have said that is something that they implement with each other, that if it's for medical reasons, I'll definitely take a look. So I think we need to check each other's balls more often.
That's actually like an interesting point you bring up. I mean, I'm not going to talk too much on it, but like, I feel it is a bit, don't you think it's kind of crazy that like us guys aren't as open with this kind of thing? Like, I don't know if you've all had this thought or if it's even a common thought guys have, but like, how far are you really going to go to help your boy? And have you ever thought about it? I mean, this is not a thought that crosses my mind, I think, ever, besides this conversation.
It's good, you see? How old are you?
20.
A whole 20 years, and you've never thought, maybe my boy's junk needs help.
You know?
Oh.
If you
I'm so sorry. The look on your face made me realize, Diego, what you talking?
I mean, it's just, okay. I need to, like, break out of, like, we're breaking stigmas, breaking taboos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've never thought, maybe my friend has testicular cancer. Let me ask if I can check for him. Because, like, I feel like you would know. But if it's something that goes so undiagnosed, maybe it's also like what's it called? Misconception that when you have cancer, you would feel it.
You'd know. No, like, that's rarely a thing. And one of the things about it is it's also not one day you don't have cancer, the next day you have cancer. It's a slow growing process, and that's why regular checking in on yourself, just knowing from the start what it should feel like, what you like, and then you'll know over time if it's irregular. So that's why we encourage at Movember checking like once a month, and you shower anyway.
I hope so.
Yeah, we can only ever hope, huh?
Different questions.
Yeah, so like you're in the area at least once a day anyway, hopefully in the shower. So a little feel here and there doesn't hurt anyone.
So wait, I just want to like circle a little back to the whole friend helping us out. Like, at what stage are we now requesting the aid and assistance of our fellow comrades?
So, my friend who shall not be named, I thought about it on the way here actually. I was like, at what point would I ask, could you help me? Like, put the metal to the metal, whatever the saying is. No. Yeah, so let's put your word to the test. And I was just thinking, what kind of things? Like, your balls, what do you feel? What is it that you can't see that maybe your friend, like, if it's too swollen, or you're like, is that a Movember? Or is it an actual, does it look a bit different? Sometimes you don't know, but your friends can see uncanny valley when they look at your nads.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Don't know if I answered that at all, but yeah.
Yeah, just learning a lot of new information, I guess.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still like, I'm not gonna rush to my boy's aid. I'm thinking doctor.
Yeah, obviously, like, that's also another thing. We mustn't put too much onus on your boy either, because he's most likely not a doctor, so he might not know what to look for just as much as you. So maybe a bit of, I think, just for the sake of breaking a stigma, we should be able to talk about these things. But if you don't have that kind of vibe, and it's your body at the end of the day, you do as you like with it, then I really think a doctor's your second point of call. However, don't be too scared of the doctor either, because it is their job. They are professionals, and this is what they're there for. And
Yeah, it also depends, because now that I think about it, would I be more comfortable like the doctor checking me out down there, or like my friend? And then I would say immediately doctor, but that's also like it's like, it has two sides. You know what I mean?
You know what? I'll be real. I'm still not that comfortable with the doctor checking me out.
Me neither, but my friend is also like, yeah, I don't see the doctor that often. You know what I mean?
Do you think like seeing your friend more often is like, oh, but I remember that time? Yeah, I don't know. But for me, I just remember having an experience when I went to the doctor, and I think it was like a full body examination or something. And, doctor was like, pull down. I was young. I was with my mom as well. Doctor was like, yeah, all right. So pull down your pants. I'm like, huh? What? Okay. So I pull them down, and I'm like, mom, like just. Can they cover the curtain? All the time, this is my mother. Like, I'd rather see, my mom's seen this multiple times. But now I'm like, okay. So, yeah, close the curtain. Mom's been barred from seeing her son.
He's a big boy now.
Yeah. She no longer has access. The password's been changed. So she's just there. And then now the doctor's having his little check in the field just to see everything. And then he's like, very straight-faced as well. Like, for him, this is a normal day in the office. To me, I'm like, wow, this is a certainly unusual sensation. Like,
So once in a lifetime, maybe. Well, shouldn't be.
yeah, like, no one else is feeling around this area other than me. So I don't know. And then, after that, anyways, my mom went into a whole frenzy. And she's like, Sean, I'm your mom. Like, why were you barring me?
Wow.
But anyway, that's a whole other issue.
If I may bring something up, partners.
I was just about to say, people
Yeah.
have girlfriends, boyfriends, everything. Like,
when you said it's only you. Yeah, like Walala Wasala, I guess.
Sure, you skill
Yeah, 2024 is a short year. No, so I'm just thinking, like, this is also something that if you don't want your friend to do it, your doctor to do it, as a first port of call, just breaking down the barriers. It also costs money sometimes to go to a doctor, so that's not always available for people. I think partners also have a second opinion. Looks very good.
I think people would even be more comfortable, I mean, obviously, with their partner than maybe with their friend.
Yeah, and I don't know what people do in their privacy of their homes, but like, you get down there, and sometimes it can get a bit, so if that's a bit ouchy that day, and if it's not that day, and also your partner should be like, I felt something a bit funny there. But this also goes the other way, guys. Find out how to do a check of your person's breasts or whatever they have, and be able to pass the favor along.
Yeah.
I mean, don't force yourself to do it. Like,
Obviously, like, no one should be taking responsibility for anyone else's health here, and we shouldn't be putting it on someone else. So that's where the doctor's like an objective person to do this. But yeah, I think there are so many other ways than.
And what about like using a mirror? Like just checking every day if things still look the same or similar. Like, do you think that could help anything?
Very much so, as long as you know what you look out for. Now, the only thing that I maybe could go a bit more into detail, but I'll put resources out more extensively, and this can also be found on the Movember website, is what to maybe look for. Sometimes, you can have a lump or something, but knowing also if you're going the visual route, if it's swollen, obviously it's swollen, and you can be like, doctor, my balls are swollen. But I don't know, if it looks a bit off, as my notes say, if it just looks a bit off, then you maybe know, but sometimes you won't be able to because it's on the inside. So
I guess if you just start to learn what your penis and your balls looks like, and then you will notice the differences over that time, because also you're not going to ask your friend every day to check your balls, because at one point that becomes conflict of a lot of things.
changes the whole relationship.
Changes the whole relationship.
But that brings me to asking, I feel that is an insanely sensitive area, that's the private parts, the no-go zone, the swimsuit area. But there's another swimsuit area that is also very, very sensitive. And that is the prostate area. And I think this goes for the average male maybe. I don't know if that's a fair demographic. I think I only recently learned about this last year, but I would like someone to teach it to me. What exactly are we dealing with when we're talking about the prostate?
Hi. So, the prostate. Um, the prostate. Well, prostate cancer, I've got some information for you, and then I'll get to everything else. So, prostate cancer typically affects older men. So, I don't know if many of you or any of you have ever heard your parents being like, I have to go to the doctor, they're going to put a finger in my butt. Don't make sure the guy isn't holding both of your shoulders when he does this.
Funny enough, I have seen that. That's why it's funny.
Yeah, so, but it's very, it's a topic every man should understand because we all get older. And I think with all the stuff we eat and the lifestyles we live, sometimes these things also get a bit younger into our systems. So yeah, the prostate is a small gland the size of a walnut, just behind, which sits just below the bladder and surrounds the urethra. So it's in your butt.
Okay.
So I think it's like average 5 centimeters. These people are having horrid faces because I'm actually showing them.
Yeah. Like being in this room is even more comfortable than listening to the conversation.
Yeah, I feel like if you're just listening to the conversation, you're probably just pausing and you're like, yo, what are these guys talking about?
Like,
Who's this guy?
breaking taboos, but why are they talking about their butts?
They've
Yeah.
really broken the taboo.
Yeah.
No, but there's so many things that I think come here because choice of words. No, but
my God.
no, but yeah. So it's in your butt. Men only have it, and yeah. So it is below the bladder and surrounds the urethra, and this is also checked regularly. It helps produce semen. And prostate cancer happens when the cells of the prostate grow uncontrollably, forming a tumor. It often grows slowly and might not cause symptoms early on, but in some cases it spreads to other parts of the bodies, like the bones or the lymph nodes, and yes, then you get an even bigger issue. So some signs and symptoms, as you know, the standard one with the whole finger in the butt thing, if it is swollen, or if you have a bump when you go like in your butt, that is a worrying sign because it should be the size of a walnut, and if it's bigger than a walnut, then so some signs and symptoms to look out for. Not all men with prostate cancer experience symptoms, but there are some potential warning signs. So needing to urinate frequently, especially at night, difficulty when starting or stopping urination, weak urine flow or pain during urination, painful ejaculation or blood in the urine or the semen, and persistent pain in the lower back, hips, or thighs. If you notice any of these, you should go to a doctor. And yes, so when you go to a doctor, what you will need to do is you go to the doctor if you notice any symptoms and are in a higher group. So also understanding your genetics, which is something you can do preventatively. You can go to your doctor and just ask for different tests be done, just so you know these things. You know if you're higher at certain diseases.
So is it like you go to the doctor and ask like, oh, can I have a genetics test? And they, like, how does it work?
I'm not a man of science. Everyone who knows me will know this. But in my mind, that is how I think it works. I
Okay.
think you can go get a blood test. You can find out how healthy your blood is. That is, I'm pretty sure you can even find that out in the course of STD tests. Like, these things go over or intersect so many times with other tests that, yeah, you can always ask them to add it on. So, yeah, you go to the doctor, you ask about a PSA test. A PSA test is a prostate-specific antigen test which measures prostate-specific antigens in your blood levels and can detect issues early. Catch prostate cancer early, survival rates are much higher than, obviously when it's found early. But one of the things that I think stigma and haha and taboo about this is the current. In the past, it was that doctors will put their finger in your butt, but that is not done as much anymore. It's done in the blood tests, and they don't even have to specifically go for this. They can be looking for other things, and if your PSAs are higher than usual, then they can do this. So, yeah, if you're ever asked, would you like the full range of blood tests, then always take the full range. Yes, so considering we live in the Netherlands, and I'm thinking that most of the people listening to this are based in the Netherlands.
No clue.
Look at us being
Maybe.
so
Wherever you are.
international.
International.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to give some information on PSA testing and how this goes, mainly in the context of the Netherlands, because that is where we live. And yes, so in the Netherlands, prostate screening isn't a part of the routine population screening. That's due to concerns about overdiagnosis and unnecessary treatments. However, individual screening is available, and this is how it works. So, step 1. You take this PSA test. This measures the level of PSA in your blood, and once again, prostate-specific antigen. That's what PSA stands for. Elevated levels of this can signal prostate issues, though they can also be caused by other conditions like infections or enlarged prostate. So, yeah, it can also be that the prostate is just a bit bigger due to swelling, due to usage, due to infection. So there are many things. And then we have a digital rectal exam. If PSAs are, does anyone remember what PSA stands for?
Prostate specific. I was actually I was glitching. Antigen.
Oh, look at this man. Yes, you're right. Yeah, so it's good to know. Elevated, a doctor might perform a DRE to check for abnormalities in the prostate. Okay, so they don't just say sit down, like stick. You can.
The way he's showing us like all the ways to do this is actually theatrical.
I always believe he's a man of science.
Yeah.
Some might say. Yeah, so they don't just stick the finger in, so don't worry. You will first do the blood test, and if there is reason to suspect anything more, like as a second test or as a confirmation, they'll check the blood, and then they'll check your prostate itself, like physically, and then we do MRI scans. If needed, an MRI scan can be used to identify suspicious areas that might require biopsy. This has been a key step in avoiding unnecessary procedures, and a biopsy is if the MRI reveals abnormalities, a biopsy will then confirm the cancer, and it's the last process in the step. So typically, and this is how I've always known it, testing is recommended that you start at 50, but there's so many reasons, as mentioned before, of why a person could find it important to test at a younger age, maybe family history or certain factors of lifestyle or other factors.
And a question that, like, I have two questions that pop up that maybe the viewers also have, like, in the back of their mind. So when you talk about the normal size of your prostate, personally, I do not have much experience with my prostate, so I don't know what the normal size is. So how do you know the difference between what's like normal, what's in your body, and what's not normal and what could be cancerous?
Okay, so I'm gonna say, everyone, put your finger up your butt. No, I'm joking.
I ain't no way.
Breaking taboos live.
No, yes, so of course I don't know either, like what a perfect healthy prostate, should we Google it?
Well, ChatGPT. Sorry.
No, oh my God.
No, just for the sake of it, but I think we might actually be Scott. However, yeah, I would say, considering like a standard or average size is a walnut size. A walnut size. I think if it's bigger than a walnut, that looks hectic.
Oh, thank goodness I can't see it. So I'm gonna let them just they can deal with it.
Yeah.
But I have a question.
Yeah.
Dear doctor, sir,
Not a doctor, not a
telling me?
doctor.
Sorry, sir. Are you telling me that I'm actually okay? I don't need to be examining my prostate once a month like I was with my testicles. Am I free to just keep my hands out my pants, basically?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say so.
Okay, because I wasn't really comfortable with the prostate one just so soon. That was.
You need more age for that, or
I think so. I've only known my hand for 20 years.
No, that's
That shit on that level.
no. Yeah. Even as a doctor, I'm not a doctor. Even as a
Right.
non-doctor, I would still say I think when we're like 20, 25, I think we're fine. But I would say these things start a bit younger, and also knowing yourself. Like at the age of 20, if you know that you have a family history of susceptibility to certain cancers or certain diseases, then I think the least you can do at this age is do the testing. Like, just check yourself at the doctor. And your doctor will also be, if you tell your doctor what you want, they'll also tell you what is possible and what is desirable. And not overreacting, because we also mustn't, not overreacting, because, yeah, we can actually cut that. But, yeah, I think we mustn't also think that every funny feeling in our bum is all of a sudden prostate cancer or something. So I think
Yeah.
it goes the same. I don't know so much if I would say to my amigo, can you check my butt?
Yeah,
So I think that's
dilemmas.
a bit of a, I think that's a bit more of a private one. But yeah, but definitely make sure that you are getting your dads, your grandfathers, everyone to be checking, because actually I know my dad knows someone who had always taken it a bit too far with the testing, like the standard testing at 50. And he was visiting my father in South Africa, and just in passing, they were talking about it. And my dad's a major advocate of testing because it's good for you. And this guy had never done it. And then he comes back to the Netherlands and he does the testing. And guess what? His PSA levels are not good, and then he
Wow,
had cancer. And if I have it right now, he survived it.
that's
But
amazing.
yeah, so that's one of the reasons I thought, yeah, early testing or just being aware of it is important. And I'm glad to have known that, because that's also one of the reasons I thought get the message out there.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, so if your dads are not doing it, and especially men in certain demographics are not so quick to go to ask another man to, or a woman, yeah, if it works like that, to put a finger in there. That's not what happens. But to check their private parts. So I think sometimes when we come from also certain backgrounds, we must also try and encourage our parents or family members or relatives a bit more than in other areas to do this, because unfortunately, yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't always go so amazingly.
Yeah, I think it's also like before I met Sean, I had never heard of Movember in my life. Like I was born in the Netherlands and raised here, so it's not really, at least when I was growing up, it was not really a conversation. And also the checking your balls or sticking the finger up your ass thing was not really approached, like not even addressed or something like that. That's no one's fault because it is a stigma and it is taboo and it is uncomfortable and people can see it as embarrassing or gay even or things like that, because there's also in our communities a big stigma on like sexuality and things like that. And I think that also really plays a big role. But something I read here is that your health is more worth more than worrying about fitting in, looking cool, or avoiding awkwardness. Because if it could save your life, but your homie looked at your balls, like I don't know, I know which one I would pick personally, because you could die. Like this happens to a lot of men that they go undiagnosed while they could have just prevented it by just asking someone for help. And asking someone for help doesn't have to be weird or awkward. And it's gonna be sometimes. It's gonna feel weird or awkward, but it is not at the end of the day because there's no ulterior motive. It's just checking to see if you have cancer, which is a disease that could kill you in that sense.
He's really your friend? Is he going to care that you asked this and he assisted you in saving your life?
Yeah, if you think about it, like if I mean, if I ask my friend to check if I have cancer, I don't know, if let's say your friend is a doctor and you ask him to like do a long scan to check if you have cancer, but it's actually the same, but then your friend is not a doctor but just a guy who also has balls, so he knows what it looks like. I don't know if that's a good comparison, but yeah.
But it also goes on to what you were saying about not knowing Movember before me. We had this conversation the other day about how Men's Health Day was on the 19th of November. And, well, for me, I had seen it, but truly only because I'd seen it, like, basically when I woke up on one of the stories I'd viewed. And for you, you saw it, like, at 10 p.m. and you're like, Sean, what the heck, bro? Like, how have we missed this
And
day?
I knew it because always around Women's Day, which is I think 8th of March, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's always discourse like, oh, when is the Men's Day? When is the Men's Day? When is the Men's Day? You guys only care about women, blah, blah, blah. But then they're like, there's already Men's Day. And I'm like, okay, maybe this year something will happen. And then 19th of November comes around and I don't hear anything. And I was talking to you about it and I was like, but whose fault is that actually? I don't think men were posting about International Men's Day. So, like, who else is gonna do it? If we don't talk about issues that are important to us, we can also not, we can't blame anyone for not talking about it. And that's also why having this podcast was a great decision, I think.
To be honest, shamefully, and I'll admit it, I didn't know it wasn't a Man's Day on the 19th, which was yesterday. I was in class and Mo, your lamb, he was like, it's Man's Day, and I was so ashamed because I'm a Movember ambassador. But this is the kind of issue. But also one of the things that I had was like, never mind, maybe. No, but I'll tell you guys on the bus or But like, we must, sometimes we must also start thinking about the non-toxic traits of men.
Yeah.
They're not only heartbreakers.
If we don't talk
So
about
true.
it, who
We are
is...
more than just heartbreakers.
Exactly.
Some of us are not heartbreakers. All right?
Some of us are just ghosts.
Sean, pick me.
I'm just
No.
a chill guy.
Oh, no. Okay. But yeah, basically,
But to be fair, though, I do want to mention, at least for Asa, the reason we didn't really post anything on Men's Day itself was, well, maybe Timothy won't agree, but for me, the reason was I felt it would take too much attention away from the whole month to just have this day. It would almost give this impression that this is the only day it matters to an extent. This might sound like, yapping, but I do feel that, okay, we've already got this Movember month, and I felt it was really important to make sure that we have the month of November to actually discuss this. And yeah, I just was like, if we relegate the 19th to a day we also post about it, then I don't know. I felt like it could low-key just draw a bit of attention to just this day, like almost as though it's some climax of sorts, which wouldn't be too fair. So yeah, I was just like, let's just have November as our month, and then we bring it on to December, to January, all the way until we're at October again. That's the 10th month, right? Yeah, October again,
Sure.
and then we start it again.
yeah. And I also want to, I also felt embarrassed that I didn't know until I saw it. I don't even remember where I saw it. But I also felt a bit embarrassed because I was like, it's like, I don't want to say it's our fault, but it is our fault that we don't know about it. Like, we should, as men, encourage each other to talk about these things, to just highlight the, good things about our masculinity and the diversity of our masculinity and things like that. And I think it really starts with ourselves. And there's a lot in the media about men, some true, some controversial,
Yeah.
But
But
we don't have to let that be the only thing that's out there. We can also have honest conversations like these about checking your balls, which are highly uncomfortable but very necessary. So yeah, I would just encourage everyone to try to use their platform
yeah. I remember when on the 19th, yesterday, I remember seeing, the first place I saw it was actually on Tribe's Instagram story. Shout out Tribes, I guess. But when I was there, I was just like, wow, this is, now thinking about it, I'm pretty sure Tribes is largely ran by other women. And their board is largely female. I'm not fully sure if this is all like an entirely woman cast, but it just brought to my attention that, that is really interesting that not many other places are talking about it, especially the other men.
If I may also give a massive shout out to Movember or the team that I've been working with. I actually haven't interacted with a man just yet. It's all women run, so I also think that's very nice. And a shout out to Tali, you've been a babe.
Shout out Tali for
Shout out.
Yeah, she's I can guess the head of Europe, like all the ambassadors in Europe. So yeah.
And I think it just shows a lot. Like, it's wonderful that women are here to help us, but we should also help ourselves. We should also encourage ourselves. We should also bring these conversations to the table, because we can complain when Women's Day comes around, oh, there's no attention for men, but when there is actually an opportunity, no one seems to want to put in the effort. Because at the end of the day, all the things that you see on the internet that you're like, oh, we should also do this for men, we have to actually do it, because I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't expect someone to do something and you don't contribute about it, or you don't talk about it and things like that. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting that Diego mentioned like Tali, and how I'm just thinking back to like all those mass communications that you just get in like your email from Movember, and it's like, even before it was Tali, it was always just like someone there, and maybe I'm stereotyping, but the name always seemed very feminine. So I was always like, wow, Movember really is run largely by women for men, and that's so nice. It's nice to at least have an organization, but it does say something.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, all the marketing, all the production, all those things, like, we need each other to talk about these hard conversations. So also, don't be scared to explore your talents a bit. It's not the end of the road to post on Instagram about something that you care about. Yeah. And maybe another segment we could dive in before we round off the podcast is to discuss maybe available support system for those who are diagnosed, because maybe there's someone listening who feels like there's something wrong, and like, how can they go about it. And
what exactly do you think is like the ideal support system to create? Well, I guess we're gonna dive into that.
I mean, my personal support system, like, if I were to be diagnosed with cancer, obviously it would be heartbreaking for me, because I'm also so young, even though that's not, requirement. Cancer doesn't care. But yeah, like, majority of my family is female, like the people close to me. So I would have to reach out to my mom, for example, and my aunties or something like that. But also, like, in that case, I would actually reach out to my male friends. So maybe I would be uncomfortable with them checking my balls. But, like, if this is happening, I would be like, guys, don't let this happen to you as well. So I don't know. It's very difficult, because I can empathize. I can try to put myself position of someone who has cancer, but it's also very difficult to think about, what would I do? Because,
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that you only really know what to do when you're in the situation. But I also think in the Netherlands we are very lucky. We have lots of organizations, and also from the National Health Insurance, I have to say, sometimes they have good things where I think people get a lot of help, knowing how my certain people in my environment received help for that. I think reaching out to your doctor, and you can always go. They have processes. I don't have the answers, I'm so sorry, but they have processes, and I think I've seen that trusting in these processes can help. So, yes, reaching out to a friend, a doctor, a loved one, a trusted one, someone you trust. Let it be your manager at work, whatever you like. I think reaching out to those type of people is very important, and I think support, it shows that having support throughout any illness makes it so much better than going through it alone, and it also somewhat helps with your success rates.
Yeah. And as we wrap up this episode, I just want to really encourage everyone listening to take care of themselves and the men around them. It's really a shame to lose one another to things that are within our control to stop
Exactly.
or to regulate and check. And I think it's important that now we're in a digital age where a podcast like this could be listened to, my family back home in Zimbabwe or South Africa or Canada or wherever in the world. I think it's important that, we check on each other. We have access to so many resources of information. And now is just a great opportunity for you to text, talk to whoever is next to you that's a guy, and I guess preferably your friend. I mean, feel very free to talk to a stranger, but
Take a leaf out of my book. Yeah, just ask strangers. Let's feel our prostates and be like, no, not the prostates, our balls. I mean,
genuinely, it's worth doing it to stop ourselves from losing each other to something so preventable and something so difficult to accept. So yeah, with that, those are my closing remarks, and thank you guys.
And cancer is a really bad disease. Like, losing someone to cancer close to me really made me realize, like, if things could be diagnosed early, it could save a lot of sadness, heartbreak, like lives. Let's start there. And I think it's a shame that because of embarrassment or stereotypes and things like that, we don't want to break that, social expectation or social norm that people shouldn't be asking for help about checking their bodies. Because at the end of the day, you're asking someone to help you to maybe possibly save your life, And I really want to encourage listeners to make things like these a part of your monthly routine. And if anything unusual is found, please consult a doctor immediately. And remember that it's okay to talk about it and to seek help. And it's time to break this silence. The more we talk, the less the stigma there is, and the better we can support each other. Yeah. Do you have any closing remarks?
I agree. Okay, let's see. Do I have closing remarks?
Speech.
So, before we wrap up, as my colleague said, I would like to encourage everyone once again to definitely check yourselves, take care of yourselves and the men in your lives. Do the regular checkups. If you're 45 to 50 plus, maybe book a doctor's appointment. Be like, can I have a PSA? Which is standing for?
Prostate. Specific.
Gen.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I don't know why I'm giving these tests, but it's the power I yield right now.
Yeah.
So yes, do your self checks, book the doctor's appointment, and don't be afraid to have conversations. Talk to your friends about what you just lived through, and make sure to. We should say this at the beginning, but make sure to test with us, to check with us. Movember is about so much more than growing a mustache. If you didn't. It's also about saving lives, listening to each other, and spreading the good word of awareness. And just one last time, I would like to reiterate, we won't have to do it this time, but just how you do a self-test for testicular cancer or testicular issues, not that you can feel the cancer. So you take your fingers, you take a nice warm shower. And then you relax your skin, you relax your body, you let the balls drop down, make sure they are fully descended. And then, you just go around feeling a bit around. There's a camera, I remember. You just go and feel a bit around, see if anything feels out of the ordinary. If anything feels lumpy or sensitive or tender. Yeah, not a good... So once you've done this, make it a monthly habit and check both testicles. So individually, in between, play with the things. It's only healthy for you. Like it's only saving your own life. And if you do feel anything off, don't panic. Really, don't panic. What do?
PSA.
No, you ask a friend.
We're also learning.
Yeah.
Process.
Look at this.
Get that one right.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You can clip it out. No, so you can ask a friend or talk to your friends about it I think also overthinking it, sitting in your bed at night is also not healthy.
Yeah.
But also you can schedule a doctor's visit. They know how to do this type of thing, and yeah, the butt thing used to be the GP's job, so yeah, I'm sure they'll be fine.
And even if it's just you tell your friend, if you need an excuse, just be like, yeah, Timothy and Sean were on this podcast, and we're like, tell your friends to check your balls. So, could you, please, for Movember, for them,
Please.
like, it could save your life at the end of the day.
If you love me, you'll do it.
Yeah.
Pretty please, guys. Yeah, thank you, guys. Please do check out the Movember Instagram page. Should they check out your Instagram page?
Yes, being so useless at internet or whatever thing is, I have a Movember page, and it is called Mo's Angels. So it will be tagged my personal Movember link. Don't judge my kilometers run, but my personal Movember link will be tagged in the notes or
Yeah, somewhere.
somewhere for you to know. Please go check it out. Please go donate. All the money and all the proceeds go directly to the Movember mental health and cancer research. So yeah, please check it out, and may you have an amazing rest of your Movember.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, ASANL, YouTube, ASA2425, TikTok, ASANL, where these clips will be shown. And
Spotify, African Voices Unmuted.
I'm gonna be on Spotify.
And see you next week.